Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Raw in Wonderland. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're unlocking doors. Not literal doors, but doors of stories. Because every great book begins with a sentence that invites us in. A sentence that says, "Come in, this is your world now." So, we're going to walk through 5 iconic opening lines from a world literature, each one a kind of door. We'll open it, peek inside, and see what might be waiting for us. Because, yes, a first line is small, but it's also a promise. First one is from Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Here is the opening line. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Right away, Austen greets us with something that sounds like a universal truth, but then you realize maybe it isn't. She's playing with our expectations. On the surface, rich single man is equal to someone must want to marry him, but underneath, what does that say about the society? What does that say about the women, about marriage? In our day-to-day lives, think about how often we hear, when you earn this, you'll be happy, or when you get married, you'll be settled. Austen invites us to laugh, reflect, maybe even roll our eyes. For a moment, imagine you're back in early 19th century England. 5 daughters, a mother fixated on marriage, a society where your value is partly defined by your match. That opening line, it's like a wink. It says, I see you. Let's talk about this. So yes, it's witty, it's sharp, and it sets the tone. Romance, society, satire. Perfect beginning. The second book is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Here is the opening line. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of having nothing to do. Ah, that feeling of boredom. The parent leaves you by the river bank, you got nothing exciting, and then something weird happens. Carroll doesn't plunge you immediately into fantasy. He lets you simmer in the ordinary first. Why is that clever? Because when you're bored in real life, you are open to surprise. When Alice is bored, you're ready to follow the rabbit hole. That's the trick. The bank, the sister, the book without pictures, it all says, "Welcome to normal." And then, "Hello, chaos." In real life, you know that moment when you scroll your phone, open the fridge for the third time, and then you decide maybe something else will be interesting. That moment is Alice's bankside. It invites, what if something unexpected happens now? So, this opening is like a quiet tap on your shoulder. Follow me. The third book is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Here is the opening line. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Here is a heavy one, but also beautifully constructed. Tolstoy gives us a thesis instantly. Happiness is uniform, but misery has infinite faces. What does that do for the reader? It triggers our curiosity. Why unhappy families vary so much? What is Tolstoy about to show us? And the novel delivers a mosaic of love, society, betrayal, duty. In real life, think of your friends, your families. Maybe everyone thinks they're okay, but mismoods and conflicts, they look different in each family. Tolstoy is saying, here is your starting point. Now let's dissect it. That sentence is also elegant, crisp, universal, yet open. And because it's universal, we all feel addressed. And because it's about unhappiness, we feel there's depth coming. It's a promise and a warning. The fourth one is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel García Márquez. Here is the opening line. Many years later, as he faced the firing squad, Colonel Aurelino Buendia was to remember that distant afternoon when his father took him to discover ice. Right from the start, you are in a memory. You are at a moment of death and a moment of discovery. Time is folded, history is layered, memory is slippery. This opening says we are not in straightforward territory. It's magical realism, a family saga myth. You feel the whole 100-year sweep in that one sentence. In everyday terms, imagine you're standing at the edge of something irreversible, like firing squad, and your mind drifts back to something innocent, like ice. Isn't that how life is, much crisis and childhood, shock and sweetness? Márquez sets tone, genre, form all in one line. And then we can't help but wonder, how did it get him from ice to a firing squad? What kind of journey is this? And we're hooked. And the last book is The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald. Here is the opening line. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Here we have a narrator, reflective, older, aware. He's not jumping into action, he's looking back, and he mentions advice his father gave him. So already we're thinking perspective, memory, judgment. What does that mean for us? In real life, when someone says, well, when I was younger, my dad told me, we know a story is coming. We know mistakes were made. We know hope, regret, maybe generational stuff. Fitzgerald uses this to hint, I've seen things. I've been shaped by words I heard. The advice that we'll discover over time. Also, vulnerability is admitted up front. The narrator is not claiming perfection. He is open. For our lives, many of us have that piece of advice still spinning in our heads. Don't judge others or be true to yourself. Maybe we still turn it over. This opening catches that feeling, and because of that, we're ready to dive into the roaring 20s, charm, luxury, and also sadness. This line sets up the dream and the ache. So, there we have it. 5 opening lines, 5 doors. Each one invites you in. Some with irony, some with boredom, some with memory, and all with promise. Maybe one of these lines will echo in your mind. Maybe you'll pick up one of the books, or maybe you'll notice your own first line in life, a moment that started something. Thank you for joining me today in Wonderland. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who loves books or someone who doesn't yet, and maybe we'll lure them in too. Remember, every bookstore is waiting. Give it a turn. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep your pages open. Bye, guys!